What is going on, y'all? Robert Sykes, KetoSavage.com, coming back at you with another contest prep vlog update. This is for week 26. We are 26 weeks into competition prep, y'all. That is crazy. Week 25, so the prior week was a peak week. I competed at the New York State competition, the Natural Mania. Chip made an awesome video showcasing all of that. Definitely check that out. The peak week videos are longer because there's just a lot more information. There's backstage footage, there's posing footage on stage, there's me against the other competitors. Definitely check that out. I should be getting some of the actual photos from the professional show photographer and video footage back from him shortly. And when I get that, I'll do a more detailed side-by-side comparison of me up against the other competitors. But until I get that, we'll just go with the information I have for week 26. So week 26, week after the show, we traveled back from New York. We drove the rig, and that took several days. As a result of that, I've been kind of fluctuating in fluid retention as a result of the driving. Some of those were pretty long days. So let's dive into the spreadsheet first and foremost here. So again, starting weight with this whole endeavor was 182.1 pounds. Scrolling down to the week 26 here, and we have an interesting weigh-in. I was 155.9 on this Monday, 9/25. One thing I have noticed is that if you look back to the actual peak week, the prior peak week, I was 157.1 on Thursday. Then I had that extra pound of ground beef. 159.5 on Friday, had the refeed pizza, the keto pizza. Saturday, the day of the show, I had the extra brick, and I weighed in at 159.4 pounds. That results in, that increase in weight is just an increase in fluid in the muscle tissue, which is a good thing. Fills out the muscles. I look fuller, I look bigger, and that's a positive thing on sure. That's peaking. However, what I do notice is that I didn't weigh in this day on Sunday because we were traveling and I didn't have my scale with me. But the following day on Monday, I was 155.9. Same is true if you scroll back and look at the other peak week. 2 days after the show, I was 155.8. And then I have a couple 155 weigh-ins here. So that's twice now that I've weighed in significantly lower 2 days after the show day. That could be a result of me not having the stress and anxiety of a show and flushing some inflammation there. That could be some fluid manipulations that come as a result of my sodium manipulations in preparation for peaking for that show. But when I train on Monday, the Monday after the competition, I notice that I just look grainy, dry, and not as full, but just incredibly crisp. So I've been thinking about playing around with my peaking strategy to kind of decide if I want to bring a fuller look or a more crispy look to the stage. If I'm up against bigger guys, it may be advantageous to go with the fuller look. If I'm going up against, leaner guys, it may be better to go with the crispier look. So week 26 has got me thinking about that. I've just kind of been really noticing those changes as a result of the week following the peak week, and I may implement some of those into the next week as a trial before my third competition in 2 weeks. So there is that to contend with here. I'm kind of figuring things out as we go and tweaking some things, but I'll be sure to keep you up to date. So again, started the week at 155.9, and as you can see, my weight steadily increased, and Sunday I weighed 161, so quite a bit heavier. The increase in weight on Saturday and Sunday are most certainly a result of me working outside all weekend. I had my family over. We were working on a fence. I was out in the sun, continuing to work out and do my normal thing. My actual calories are dropping, but because of that extra activity, I was experiencing some more inflammation, some more fluid retention, so that most certainly explains the increase in weight there. It's not like I'm gaining any body fat or anything of that nature. As far as cardio goes, I did 20 minutes at level 16.5. I put 16.5 because the first half of that was level 17. The second half was level 16. 17 kicked my butt, so I dropped it back down to 16. And then I did 25 minutes at level 16 on Sunday because I do want to increase the intensity of the cardio a little bit. This will be the first time I've increased it in a while. But rather than jumping up to 17 and just kicking myself in the butt, I'm just going to increase it by 5 minutes. So I did 25 minutes at level 16 this past Sunday. Now, the macros this week have been going down. Again, with the actual peak weeks, I've been increasing them with these refeeds. I still have my once a week refeed on a standard week, but I do not incorporate the extra pound of ground beef and the extra brick on a standard non-peak week. As a result, my day-to-day intake is 1,745 calories. My refeed this week was 3,170 calories, which breaks down to about 66% of my calories coming from fat on a standard day and 71% on the refeed day. The way I've got that broken down from a meal standpoint, again, pretty typical. The nut pods in the morning coffee, eggs, egg whites, the Bell's Brownie Keto Brick here. I use 93.7 ground beef in the meat portion there. Electrolytes, I've held that constant. I'm doing 8 grams of salt, the Redmond Drill salt. So my total sodium intake this week has been right around just shy of 12,000 milligrams of sodium, 11,872. On the refeed day, which was the 29th, let's go to that real quick. This is September 29th. As you can see on the spreadsheet here, I've been increasing the fat and dropping the protein with the refeeds. The normal day-to-day intake, the fat has held constant and the protein has been dropping every week. So the day-to-day intake has been 140 grams of fat, or 140 grams of protein rather, 125 grams of fat, 15 total carbs. On the refeed day, it was 250 grams of fat, 220 grams of protein, which is down 10 grams from the 230 of last week. So this week's refeed was 9 tablespoons of nut pods, the smaller meal in the earlier part of the day, 4 eggs, 5 ounces of ground buffalo, grass-fed buffalo, 17 grams of ghee, and then that ketogenic refeed pizza with the Bell's Brownie Keto Brick. And I bumped up my sodium to about 14.5 milligrams of sodium on refeed day, and that has been working pretty well for me. So 12,000 milligrams on a standard day, 14,500 on the refeed day. So that's pretty much what I'm using to hit my macros and my electrolyte goals for the day-to-day. Now, let's talk about, let's go into the posing footage here real quick, and then we're going to talk about body fat because I did get a DEXA scan this week. So we'll just start with the posing. This posing footage was taken on Saturday. So basically I did my refeed on Friday. This posing footage was taken on Saturday. So this is with that fuller look and the body weight of 160.2 pounds on Saturday. So this is with the fuller look that we're going for. And then the next time we do this will be with the leaner look. So we'll kind of see and compare the two. Some of the feedback I got from the judges at the last show, which I told you about in the last video, was them wanting to work on my symmetry round poses a little bit and bring that out. So I'm kind of playing around with that in this footage here. I haven't nailed it yet, but I am seeing some improvements. On this front pose, I need to lean more forward so my lats aren't as hidden. But on these side poses, I've been trying to torque my side more so towards the front, towards the camera, towards the judges, and that has made a positive improvement there. So I do like that aspect of it for sure. Again, I need to kind of just work on bringing out my lats more in these symmetry round poses. And it's strange because I'm not really flexing my upper body so much. I'm keeping everything tight and I'm flexing my legs, but I'm just trying to get the positioning right on the upper body. Keeping my core tight, not holding any air in my diaphragm, just basically breathing through my nose and focusing on these transitions and keeping everything very tight. There we are again with the front relaxed pose. Again, my legs are flexed, but my upper body is relatively actually relaxed. Going to the muscular rounds here, we've got the front lat spread. You can definitely see a lot more definition in my legs now. My legs come in later than my upper body, but you can see all this feathering, this separation here, separation coming through there. And this is all these things that you were not able to see 4 or 5 weeks ago. So things are definitely getting leaner, especially from the side pictures on the legs. My glutes are definitely coming in. All the lines in my quadriceps and hamstrings. You can see veins on the back side of my legs now. That's new. On these side chest poses, I'm trying to keep that theme of showcasing more lats and having my entire torso turned more towards the judges because they want to see that X-frame width factor apparently more so now than ever from a judging standpoint. So I'm really trying to showcase that. Here we've got the Christmas tree going into the back lat spread pose. Again, you can see a lot more vascularity in the trapezius and lumbars there that you were not able to see previously. So I feel good about that. Back double bicep pose. Hamstrings are looking dialed in. I'm still holding a little bit of fluid in my calves. I always hold fluid in my lower body south of the knees when I'm doing a lot of driving. So those are a little bit swollen. They're still a little bit swollen, but that will all flush out before the next show. Thank goodness. Going into the side chest on the other side there, again, just trying to keep my torso rotated towards the judges. Side tricep here. And I did ask the judges about me incorporating this, classic side tricep variation, and they're all about it. If you've got the physique, any little movement you can do that draws the judges' eyes towards you on stage is a positive. So doing that. Then I'm going into my signature pose here, and just a lot more, definition. Like, look at that feathering the quads there. Like, that's all just stuff that was not there several weeks back. You can see the intercostal muscles. You can see all the definition in the abdominals. So feeling really good about how the conditioning is coming along thus forward. Rounding out here with the muscular variations, hands on hip most muscular, hands grasping most muscular. And the judges did say they did not want me to hide my abdominals that much with my hands, which I'm doing here. So I need to work on not hiding my abdominals when I do that crab most muscular pose. All right, let's talk a little bit about body fat. So I got a DEXA scan on Thursday. The last DEXA scan I got showed 5.1%. And that was taken on 7/17/2023. This latest one was taken on 9/28/2023. So we'll just scroll through some of the information here. Let's get to the relevant stuff, the stuff y'all are interested in. All right, boom. So we are at body fat tissue here. So if you can see my cursor, I was at 5.1 on 7/17. I am at 4.1 on 9/28. So I have dropped 1% body fat in that time. When you are starting a cut and you're 30% body fat, it's difficult to lose body fat for most people, especially if they're not really doing things properly with their nutrition. But when it comes to getting incredibly freakishly lean, to go from 30% to 20% body fat is significantly easier than going from 5% to 4%, 4% to 3%. Like, once you start going below 10% body fat, the changes in body fat at that point become much more challenging because you're basically running on real-time fuel. What you're eating that day is fueling that day's activities. Certainly once you get below 5%, that becomes the case. So it's much more taxing from a hormonal standpoint, from an adrenal standpoint, from a psychological standpoint. So I feel really good about going from 5.1 to 4.1. Now, the goal of this entire prep is to be the leanest man alive. The leanest man alive, this is not an official thing because there's no, aficionado of this that I'm aware of. But it's generally agreed upon that the leanest man alive is this guy here, Helmut Strebel, I'm not really sure how to pronounce his name. But he is freaking shredded. He looks incredible. He's 54 years old. Hats off to him. He looks great. Now, this guy he did an interview, and he said that he was 4% via DEXA in that interview. Now, he's going to look a little bit different than me because he's 54 years old. He's got more muscle maturity. He's going to have thinner skin being that old relative to me. So lots of variations there. But again, in that interview, he said he was 4% body fat via DEXA. I'm not sure if that was 4.1, 4.5, 4.7, 4 even. He didn't disclose that. We'll just call it 4 even and give him the benefit of the doubt. So if we're going with 4 even, I am 0.1% fatter than the leanest guy on the planet. So pretty close to the goal there. I've got full confidence that by the time this prep is over, I will have crested that 4% marker and be somewhere in the 3% range. So we are very, very close, ladies and gentlemen, to being the leanest man alive, which I feel really good about. So there's an update on the DEXA. I will get another DEXA scan after we get to this next round of competitions. I also have I'm recording this on Monday. I have a blood panel draw Tuesday, so tomorrow. So I will be getting blood work tomorrow, and I will let y'all know what those results are as soon as I get them. I will let you know the results of the professional photo package with the other competitors as soon as I get them. And then we will be going into another peak week very soon here as well. And then we have several manipulations as it pertains to changing the peaking strategy a little bit, which will all be in depth and explained in next week's video too. So lots of changes, lots of exciting things. We have 2 competitions out of 5 in the books. We got 3 more to go. And this next one is the one that I am peaking for, more or less. So I'm super excited about that. So ladies and gentlemen, we're getting close. We're in the home stretch. Things are looking good. And I'm just excited to showcase the journey and take y'all along for the ride. So appreciate y'all for checking in. And we'll talk to you next week for week 27.